All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right, so today I want to get into this book, all right, called The Miseducation of the Negro, all right, written by Carter G. Woodson. All right, as you see this book right here, all right, it titles The Miseducation of the Negro, Stolen Legacy, and right in the Willie Lynch letter, it has all these three books in one. But today we're going to get into The Miseducation of the Negro, all right, written by Carter G. Woodson. All right, so let's just get right into it. All right, let's get right into it. All right, let's go into chapter 1. You know, I read a little bit of the first page, all right, and a little bit of the second page, and I was just like, let me read this and do a video on it, and then, you know, I guess we'll read this together, all right, if we get through it, all right, if we get down here to here, whatever. I didn't read the whole first chapter yet. The whole first chapter is not really that long, all right. We're already on the second chapter as I flip through the pages, all right, but we'll see what goes on, you know, through the spirit, all right. But anyway, let's just get into it. Let me zoom in real quick and we'll read it, all right. So it says, The Miseducation of the Negro, chapter 1, all right, the seat of the trouble, all right. So it says, the educated Negroes, all right, as you see, it has it in quotes, all right, because you Negroes here in America aren't really educated, man. All right, the education system wasn't really meant to educate you, all right. It was meant to indoctrinate you. All right, the education system doesn't teach you Negroes, you Latinos, and you Native Americans, all right, about who you really are. All right, the education system doesn't teach you that you Negroes, you Latinos, and you Native Americans are the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of. All right, you think Esau, Edom, all right, through his education system is going to teach you who you really are? All right, Esau, Edom is the #1 enemy to the Israelites. You think Esau, Edom is going to teach you through his education system who you really are? The whole purpose is to wipe your remembrance of who you are away from you forever, man. That you don't come back to your power. All right, because when Esau, Edom knows once we come back and wake up to who we really are, it's game over for him. All right, he knows that his time is short. All right, and that's what happened when the Lord rose up the true prophets and the true servants. All right. Starting with Abba Bivens, all right, you know, and the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord are now being called Great Millstone, man, all right, and the ones that teach like Great Millstone, that same doctrine, the like doctrine, man, all right, because those Israelites, the Israelites of Great Millstone, they are the ones that have 100% truth of the Bible, man, you understand, all right. Those are the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord. And since the Israelites have been risen up, all right, great fear has fell upon, all right, the elite banking families. All right, they see us out here, all right, that the Lord has risen up his true prophets, his true servants. Now they're in great fear. All right, because they know that the Lord prophecy is coming to pass, that the Lord is bringing his people back, man. That the Lord is waking his people back up, man. All right, that's why they're in great fear, because now they see the prophets out here. They know that their time is short now. All right, and that's why they're doing what they're doing, man. All right, coming down upon you Negroes, you Latinos with great wrath. All right, you know, that's getting ready to happen with this martial law. All right, with this MOTB, all right, which is the digital chocolate chip the elites want to implant under your skin. All right, you know. Esau, Edom is about to roll on you, man, because now the prophets are out here. He knows he has nothing but a short time. See, you know, Esau, Edom, starting with the elite banking families, they're really in true fear. They are really in true fear right now. All right, like it tells you in Revelation, the 11th chapter. all right, and also Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Okay, but let's just get into this, man. All right, it says chapter 1, the seat of the seat of the trouble. All right, the educated Negroes, all right, have the attitude of contempt toward their own people, because in their own as well as in their mixed schools, Negroes are taught to admire the Hebrew, the Greek, the Latin, and the Teuton, all right, and to despise the African, all right. See, the person that wrote this book doesn't know that we're the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of, all right, that the Negro man here in America that was brought to America on slave ships, all right, from the west coast of Africa during the transatlantic slave trade, that they are the real Jews that the Bible speaks of, man. All right, the Negro man here in America is not African, man. All right, that's what we're taught in Esau Edom's, all right, the so-called white man's education system. All right, that the Negro man here in America is African, that he wants to teach that everyone that has so-called black skin is African. He lumps everybody that has dark skin in America, or so-called black skin, all right, in America, is African, man. All right, that's not the truth. The so-called Africans, all right, come from the seed of Ham. The Negro man here in America don't come from the seed of Ham. They come from the seed of Shem. The Israelites come from the seed of Shem, man. All right, the Negro man here in America is the real Jew that the Bible speaks of, man. But I do understand what this man is trying to say. All right, that Esau, even a so-called white man, he teaches everything. He teaches the Negro man here in America everything underneath of the sun, all right, except for the truth. All right, they teach you that this, they teach you that, they teach you different, you know what I'm saying, except for who you truly are. This is what he's trying to say. All right, it says, and to despise the African, meaning that they don't, because he thinks that we're Africans, that except for who we truly are, man. All right, hold on, let me pause the video for a sec. All right, I had to pause the video real quick, but like I was saying, yeah, they teach us everything who we really are. They teach us everything, underneath the sun, except for who we really are, man. All right, and that's the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of, man. All right, so I understand what he's saying, but we're not Africans, man. All right, so let me read that again. It says, the educated Negroes have the attitude of contempt toward their own people, because in their own, as well as in their mixed schools, Negroes are taught to admire the Hebrew, which we are the Hebrews, but the modern day Hebrew, all right, is not the real Hebrew, all right? It says the Greek, the Latin, and the Teuton, all right, and to despise the African, all right? And the Teuton, I looked up Teuton, it says a member of a people who lived in Jutland in the 4th century BC and fought the Romans in France in the 2nd century BC, all right? Anyway, let's get reading. It says, of the hundreds of Negroes, it says, of the hundreds of Negro high schools recently examined by an expert in the United States Bureau of Education, only 18 offer a course taking up the history of the Negro. Yeah, all right. You're not gonna find out who you Negroes here in America are not gonna find out who you really are through the American education system. All right, through Esau Edom's, the so-called white man's education system. You think the devil, all right, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is going to teach you who you really are? The word devil means deceiver. And Esau Edom, the so-called white man, being the devil that the Bible speaks of, you think he going to teach you the truth? No, he going to deceive you, man. All right, you Negroes here in America, you're not Africans. You're not African American. All right? Whatever you call yourself, Negroes, blacks, all right, you're the real Jew that the Bible speaks of. All right, and Jew is technically one tribe, all right, the tribe of Judah, all right. But sometimes the entire southern kingdom of Israel, all right, collectively was known as Jews, all right. The southern kingdom was known as the kingdom of Judah. So sometimes collectively, all right, the southern kingdom was known as Jews, man. All right, the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Levi, and the tribe of Benjamin. You understand? All right. So it says, matter of fact, the Rockefellers, all right, which is one of the satanic elite banking families, all right, one of the satanic Illuminati elite banking families, all right, they control the education system. All right. Matter of fact, let's prove that. All right. I got this book right here, all right, called The Bloodlines of the Illuminati, all right, written by Fritz Springmeier. And it goes into the 13 satanic Illuminati elite banking families, man. All right. And one of them right here is the Rockefeller bloodline. All right. The Rockefellers. It goes into the Rockefellers. It goes into the Rothschilds. All right. It goes into the Astor family, the Collins family, the DuPonts. All right. And I've done many videos and lessons on this book, actually, going into each one of these bloodlines, man. All right. So let's read this real quick. All right. It says, one of the 13 satanic bloodlines that rule the world is the Rockefeller bloodline. All right. It says today there are around 190 members of this family with the Rockefeller name, and of course some others by other last names. All right. This article is to explore further, for those who investigate the Illuminati, how the Rockefeller bloodline is involved in the promotion of the occult and Satanism, all right, and how they are involved in the control of the Christian denominations, all right. So you got a satanic bloodline that controls the Christian churches, man. But somehow you Christians in the church think that you have the truth, man. Esau, Edom, right, being your number one enemy, the devil that the Bible speaks of, the so-called white man. He's your number one enemy. He controls these churches. But somehow y'all Christians think y'all got the true gospel, man. It says that they control all the Christian denominations. So whether you're a Calvinist, a Seventh-day Adventist, a Baptist, all right, Pentecostist, all right, they control these denominations, man. You see? All right, and then when you go down, it says right here, they provide a large share of money it says they provide a large share of money that seminaries, all right, in the United States need to operate. So they control these seminaries, man. All right, which are the schools that teach you the Bible. All right, which these seminaries, all right, like Apostle Tahar likes to say, they're actually cemeteries, man. All right, you go to a seminary to learn the scriptures, man. You come out there worse than before you entered in, man. All right, your head is all misconstrued. All right, you learn a false gospel in these seminaries, man. They don't teach you the truth of the Bible, man. All right, you see, they provide a large share of the money that seminaries in the United States need to operate. You see, they provide a large share of the money that universities need to operate. Education influences the religious values of our people, you see. So they control the education system. All right, a satanic bloodline, all right, controls the universities, man. You think Esau Edom is going to teach you the truth? All right, you Negroes and you Latinos, you Native Americans, the truth. And the education system was not meant to really educate you, bro. It was meant to indoctrinate you. Matter of fact, let's look up this word indoctrinate. All right. All right. Matter of fact, let's get the etymology of the word indoctrinate. Let's do it like that. All right. Indoctrinate. All right. Let's see what indoctrinate means. All right. It's a verb. All right. It says formally indoctrinate, to teach. All right. But there seems to have been no word indoctrinaire. It says, let's read it. Perhaps model from indoctrinaire, to extend from earlier. All right. Verb indoctrine to instruct. All right. To imbue with an idea or opinion. All right. First recorded. All right. Indoctrination. All right. Doesn't give me too much. All right. Indoctrinate. Let's just look up the definition real quick. All right. Indoctrinate. Definition. All right. Indoctrination. All right. Let's just look up indoctrinate. Let's look up that. All right. To teach a person to accept a set of beliefs, all right, uncritically. All right. Let's look up. Oh, you see? Look at the words that's similar to indoctrinate. To brainwash. All right. To brainwash. All right. To re-educate. All right. One of the synonyms to indoctrinate is to brainwash, because that's what you're really doing, and that's what's happening to you in these education systems, man. In the American education system, in the white man's education system. All right, you're being brainwashed. You're not being taught who you really are. You Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans. All right, let's look up the definition of brainwash. All right, to make someone adopt radically different beliefs by using systematic and often forcible pressure. Yeah, you're being systematically brainwashed. All right. All right, you're being conditioned. All right. It says third person brainwashed. All right. Yeah. All right. To make someone believe something by repeatedly telling them that it is true and preventing other information from reaching them. Yeah, that's exactly what they do. All right. When you read something called the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. All right. Now they try to say that's a fake book. All right, which is complete bullshit. All right. You know, you got so-called scholars, quote-unquote scholars, all right, coming out saying that book is fake. Yeah, okay. All right, anyway, there's a book called The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, which is a book that the elites wrote, man. Right, and in that book, it tells you how they're going to erase the truth from books and the education system. All right, they're going to make, they're going to keep everything in those books that make them look good, right? And erase everything out of the books that make the Negro, Latino, Native American look good, all right? And they're gonna add things, all right, that make the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American look bad, man. You see? So they could look good, so the white man could look good, all right, and the Negro, Latino, Native American man could look like a wicked, evil person all throughout the course of history, man. You see? You see how much of a devil Esau Edom is, man? All right, when you go into that book, I think it's actually I'm trying to remember the article. All right, I think it's Article 6. All right, Article 6 or Chapter 6, and maybe like the third paragraph, something like that. All right, I gotta find it again, and if I find it again, I'll show you. All right, it's around there. It tells you that in that book, man. All right. It says right here, let's see what this book is saying. All right, it says they provide large grants to various religious organizations. All right, so the Rockefellers they fund these religious organizations, the education system, the seminaries. All right, it says their influence and control helps determine who will get publicity in the major news magazines and on television. Yeah, so they control the airways, man. They control all the news outlets. That's why you people are so brainwashed. Y'all don't know what the hell is going on or happening. All right, because they make you see what they want you to see, and they make you hear what they want you to hear, man. All right, their influence has contributed, all right, to various anti-Christian organizations being set up. So they fund the Christian churches, and they fund the organizations that go against the Christian churches. See, bro. You see how they set up division, all right, to cause chaos, man. Order out of chaos, man. They directly help control certain religious groups such as Lucas Trust. All right? It says the Rockefellers influence is both subtle and not so subtle. All right? So, come on, man. It says in the book The Unholy Alliance, all right? In the book The Unholy Alliance, details are given on how the seminaries, church boards, and Christian colleges have been captured, all right? They have been captured by satanic banking families, man. And you Christians be in these churches thinking y'all got the truth, not knowing that it's controlled by Satan. All right? All Christian churches, all right, are controlled by the elite banking families, because all Christian churches have something that's known as what? A 501c3, all right, which is tax exemption. That's why churches don't pay taxes, right? But in order to obtain that 501c3, you have to you are being these pastors in these churches are taught what to teach. They're controlled on what to teach and what not to teach. You see, all right, that goes to show they're not the true prophets of the Lord, because the scripture, what did Paul say? I have shunned you not. I have not shunned you to teach you the whole truth or all the gospel, man. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick because I don't want to butcher that scripture. All right. All right. I have not shunned to teach you all the truth. All right, KJV. All right, I think that's in the book of the Acts. All right. All right. It says Acts 20:27, for I have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of the Most High Yahweh. All right. So we don't half step it when we teach you the gospel, man. We teach you all the truth. All right. We don't hold nothing back. All right. Whether you like it or not, whether it sounds good to your ears, whether it doesn't sound good to your ears. All right. We don't hold back when it comes to the truth, man. Teaching the truth. All right. Because not all the truth sounds good. All right. We don't shun to declare unto you all the gospel of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, man. In these churches, that's what they do, man. They have step. They don't teach you the whole truth, man. All right. I have not shunned to declare unto you, all right, all the counsel of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, man. All right. So let's go back into this book. All right. It says of the hundreds of Negro high schools recently examined by an expert in the United States Bureau of Education, only 18 offer a course taking up the history of the Negro. All right. And if they do teach you the history of the Negro, they're still not teaching you the truth of who you Negroes really are in America. All right. If they're teaching you if they're teaching you about Negro history, they're not teaching you the truth about Negro history, man. All right, the history of the Negro here in America. All right, because not all so-called Negroes, black people, are the same, man. All right, you got the so-called Africans. All right, they got so-called black skin too, but they're not the same here. They're not the same people here in America as the Negroes here in America. All right, Shemites and Hamites are different people, man. All right, the true so-called Africans, all right, come from Ham. We're not Hamites, we're Shemites. All right, it says, and in most of the Negro colleges and universities where the Negro is thought of, the race is studied only as a problem, all right, or dismissed as little of consequence. You see? All right. It says, for example, all right, an officer of a Negro university thinking that an additional course of the Negro, all right, should be given there, called upon a Negro doctor of philosophy of the faculty to offer such work. He promptly informed, right, the officer that he knew nothing about the Negro. All right. So how does a Negro man, all right, a doctor of philosophy, know nothing about the Negro? All right. He's supposed to be a doctor, a well-learned man, right? But yet he has know nothing about the Negro. All right. You know? All right. It says he did not go to school to waste his time that way. All right. He went to be educated in a system which dismisses the Negro as a non-entity. All right. Come on, bro. It says at a Negro summer school, all right, it says at a Negro summer school 2 years ago, a white instructor gave a course on the Negro. All right. Using for his text, it says using for his text a work which teaches that whites are superior to the blacks, which that's completely bullshit. All right, it's the other way around. It's the other way around. All right, but like I said, not all so-called black people are the same people, but the Negroes that came over here to America are the real Jews that the Bible speaks of. All right, and the Israelites, all right, not just the Jews, all right, all the nation of Israel, whether you be of the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, the tribe of Levi, the tribe of Ephraim, the tribe of Issachar, all right, the tribe of Naphtali, the tribe of Simeon, the tribe of Manasseh, all right, the tribe of Zebulon, all right, no matter what tribe you are, all the nation of Israel are above all people upon this planet Earth, man. All right, they are superior above all other races, all other nations of this earth, all right, because those are God's chosen people. He created them that way, all right, so let's prove that. All right, let's prove that. All right, let's get Deuteronomy, the book of Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, man. All right, book of Deuteronomy, all right, 7 and 6. All right, let's grab that real quick. But hold on, let me pause the video for a second. All right, so let's get it. Let's read it. All right, this is Deuteronomy 7 and 6. All right, it says, let's get it like this. All right, Deuteronomy 7 and 6, it says, for thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy power. All right, so the Lord is talking to the Israelites. All right, he said, for thou art an holy people. The word holy means separate. All right, how did the Lord separate us from all other nations? By giving us the law. All right, and making a covenant with us. He didn't do that with any other nation. The Lord didn't give his laws to any other nation, or his word or his covenant to any other nation. All right, the old covenant and the new covenant. All right, that's how the Lord made us holy. That's how the Lord made the nation of Israel, all right, holy. All right, you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, the Lord separated us from all other people, made us a special people. That's why we're greater than anybody else. All right, the nation of Israel. We hold a different spirit than everybody else. The Negro, Latino, Native American man has a special spirit in him, man. All right, that's why everybody hates us, but yet they try to beat us. You know, we have a certain type of flavor, a certain type of era. A certain type of aura upon us, right? Because we're God's chosen people, all right? Who are the best dancers, the best football players, the best soccer players, the best basketball players, the best boxers, the best fighters? Who are the best looking men and women? Who create the best looking babies? The so-called Negro, Latino, Native American man, because we're God's chosen people. We carry all the flavor on the earth. All right, it says Deuteronomy 7 and 6, for thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy power. Yahweh thy power has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. You see, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So when you learn, all right, that so-called white people are superior to so-called Negroes here in America, all right, that is completely false. Because the so-called Negro man here in America, he's the real Jew that the Bible speaks of. All right, he's the true Israelite that the Bible speaks of, and like we're reading here, all right, in Deuteronomy 7 and 6, the Israelites are above all people that are upon the face of this earth. When you're above, you're not equal, right? We're superior to all nations upon this planet earth, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American men. Because we're God's chosen. He made us that way, man. And he made all other nations and races to be below us, man. They don't carry the same spirit that the Negro, Latino, Native American man has, bro. This is a special type of spirit we have, a special type of aura on us that we have, man. Even in the low state that we are in today. Because we don't rule the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American man. We don't rule no part of this earth. We don't own or rule this planet earth right now. Not even a portion or a small part of it. We're at the bottom of society everywhere we go on this planet earth. But even in our low state, people still want to be like us. All right, they want to do what we do. They hate us because they ain't us, but they still try to be like us, man. Because we're God's chosen. We have a certain type of aura, a certain type of special type of spirit that we have, man. You see? So no so-called white people are not superior, all right, to the Negro man here in America. All right, and the Negro man comes from the tribe of Judah. That's the top tribe of all 12 tribes of Israel, man. That's the tribe that our Lord Yahweh Shai comes from. The Messiah comes from. All right, it says at a Negro summer school 2 years ago, a white instructor gave a course on the Negro, using for his text a work which teaches that whites are superior to blacks. And you got to be proud as hell A proud ass white man. A proud ass so-called white man. All right, to think that you're more superior than a so-called black man. You must be out your damn mind. All right, but that's the pride of Esau Edom. That's the pride of the so-called white man, like it tells you in the book of Obadiah. For thy pride has deceived thee. All right, you so-called white people with your pride, because you so-called white people are the most proud people on this planet Earth. With your pride, walking around thinking you're greater than every race. All right, you're gonna learn real soon, all right, that you are not superior, man. Matter of fact, having so-called white skin is a curse. Having so-called white skin is a curse. What happened when Miriam was cursed with leprosy? When the Lord Yahweh, all right, made Miriam leprous. What did Moses say unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh? Pour not this sin upon us. Matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. All right. Let's grab that. Yeah. Let's get that. All right. Let's grab that. And Miriam. Leprous. All right. Let's grab that real quick. So that's in Numbers. All right, that's in Numbers 12. All right, matter of fact, I got my Bible right here in front of me. All right, so let me skip through my flip through the scriptures real quick. Let me get to it. All right. Yeah. All right. So it says I'll get it. Let's get it. All right. So this is Numbers 12. I'll start at verse 10. All right, and then we'll go through 12. All right, because Miriam was cursed with leprosy, right? All right, and then she was cursed with leprosy. She was turned leprous. So what color was she before she turned leprous? All right, because it says she was leprous, white as snow, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so let's get it. It says, and the cloud, all right, this is Numbers 12 and 10. It says, and the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. So she became leprous, white as snow. What color was she before that, man? All right, because the ancient Israelites, all right, were so-called black people, man. All right, and mainly, all right, the kingdom of Judah, the southern kingdom of Israel, all right, the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, and tribe of Levi, they're still so-called black people, man. All right, and mainly the northern kingdom, all right, they started, they're so-called black too, but mostly among them, all right, they became lighter, all right, and became speckled, man. All right, so it says, and the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, at last, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not this sin upon us, all right, wherein we have done foolishly and wherein we have sinned. Yeah, all right. So, you know, Aaron, all right, said unto Moses, lay not this sin upon us, all right, because it's not good to have lepers to be so-called white, to have so-called white skin. That's a curse. He said, lay not this sin upon us. You see? All right, that's why the Idumeans, all right, which is the Greek way of saying Edom, all right, Edomites, all right, Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom, all right, which is Edom today. The Edomites today is the so-called white race, all right. The Lord called the Edomites the people of my curse. What would they curse with? With leprosy. All right, having so-called white skin, that's a curse. It's not good to have so-called white skin, man. You know? But, you know, you got, like it says right here, all right? Teaches that whites are superior to blacks, which it's the complete opposite, man. The Lord said that Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, out of all the nations of the earth, out of all the races of the earth, you are the lowest. Matter of fact, let's get that. Ooh. All right, Obadiah. All right, let's get that. All right, let's get that. I think it's in Obadiah. Give me a second. All right, yeah. All right. Matter of fact, Obadiah 1:1. All right. The vision of Obadiah. This is the vision that the prophet Obadiah had. All right. Thus saith the Lord God Yahweh concerning Edom. So this vision that Obadiah had, all right, concerns the nation of Edom, the Edomites, which today is the so-called white race. All right. So this is the vision that this is the vision that the Lord gave Obadiah. All right, about the nation of Edom. It says, we have heard a rumor from Yahweh, an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. So the Lord, all right, amongst all the heathen races, all right, which the heathen are all races outside of Israel, all nations outside of the nation of Israel. All right, heathen, is another word for Gentile. All right, which the word Gentile does not always mean someone who is not an Israelite. All right, because in the New Testament, the Israelites were known as Gentiles as well. All right, those were who that is who the Gentiles were, the ones that received salvation in the New Testament. All right, those were Israelites, man. All right, but anyway, it says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. So out of all the races of the earth, the Edomite race, the so-called white race, is the lowest of the low. All right, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. All right, so out of all the other heathen races, the nations, all right, he is the lowest. He is the smallest. All right, let me pause this real quick. All right, I had to pause the video real quick. But anyway, like it says right here, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. So out of all the races of the earth, all right, the Edomites are the smallest. All right, the lowest of the low. That's how the Lord created them, to be vile and low of the low. The so-called white race, the so-called Caucasian race. All right, the pride of thy heart has deceived thee. Yeah, so the pride of you so-called white people, all right, has deceived y'all, thinking y'all the superior race. All right, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. Yeah, because you lived in the Caucasus Mountains. All right, in the ancient world, y'all lived in the mountains in Edom. All right, but during the time of the Dark Ages, all right, the Byzantine Empire, all right, you so-called white people, y'all were living in the Caucasus Mountains, in the caves of the Caucasus Mountains. That's why you're called you so-called white people are called Caucasians, right? Because before the Renaissance era, all right, which is when the so-called white man was coming back into power, all right, because during the Dark Ages, the so-called Negro man was ruling, all right, which those Negroes were Israelites, man. All right, during the time of the Dark Ages, all right, you were pushed in the rocks. You were pushed away from civilization. That you were nowhere near rulership. So-called white people were nowhere near power or rulership during the time of the Dark Ages, when the so-called Negro man was ruling Europe for 1,000 years. All right, you were pushed into the mountains, into the Caucasus Mountains, living in the caves. That's why you so-called white people are called Caucasians. The word Caucasian means cave dweller. You were living in the caves before the Renaissance era, before the white man came back into power. All right, and then as soon as he came back into power, he started whitewashing everything. All right, he didn't waste no time being the devil. All right, you see, whose habitation is high. Yeah, that's why you build skyscrapers. All right, that saith in the heart, who shall bring me down? The Lord is getting ready to bring you so-called white people down, starting with the elite banking families, because they're the ones that rule this entire earth, this planet. All right, so let's read that again. All right, it says, at a Negro summer school 2 years ago, a white instructor gave a course on the Negro, using for his text a work which teaches that whites are superior to the blacks. But that's not true according to the scriptures. All right, The nation of Israel is above all nations above the face of this earth, which you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans are the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of, all right? And this is what the Lord said to the Israelites, all right? For thou art an holy nation. The Lord made us holy, meaning separate, all right, by giving us laws and commandments, all right? That goes to show you the Lord don't love the other nations because he didn't give them laws. Just like when you bring up a child, right? You give him laws and rules to follow in the household, right? Because you know what's best for him, right? So you're trying to lead him into the right way by giving him laws and rules to follow in your household, right? And because you love him, right? The Lord said, basically, the Lord only gave the laws and commandments to the Israelites because those are the only people that he loves. He said the other people could do what they want to do. I'm not going to give them laws. They could do what they want to do because I don't love them. Let them do this. Let them do that. You know? Deuteronomy 7:6, for thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy God. Yahweh thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Come on, man. Now let's get Leviticus. Leviticus, because again, all right, the Lord said we are that, for thou art a holy people. The word holy means separate. All right, the Lord separated us from all nations. All right, so let's get Leviticus 20, I think it is, Leviticus 20 and 26. All right, if I'm not mistaken. All right, if I'm not mistaken. All right, yeah, Leviticus 20 and 26. Let's grab that real quick. All right, it says, and ye shall be a holy people unto me, talking to the nation of Israel. All right, Yahweh. All right, for I, Yahweh, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. Yeah, so the Lord severed us, separated us from other people, made us a completely different people, man. He gave us his commandments, his laws, his covenant. He poured his spirit upon us. All right, and ye shall be holy unto me. And ye shall be holy, unto me, for I, Yahweh, am holy. All right, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. So the Lord separated us, made us his. That's why we have a special type of spirit upon us. The Negro, Latino, and Native American man has a special type of spirit upon us. And that's why Negroes and Latinos get along well. They make the same type of music. You know? Hip hop. You know? That's why even the Negro tribes, the Southern tribes, they vibe with Israel, which is the Northern Kingdom. The Northern Kingdom is also known as Israel. All right, because you know you got the Latino tribes with the Latino music, but even the Negro tribes, they don't understand it. They still vibing with it, and we vibe with their, the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom be vibing, man. They be vibing, bro, together, man. You know, it says that Judah and Israel were oppressed together, man. Jeremiah, man. All right, come on, man. Let's go back into this, all right? So it says, when asked by one of the students why he used such a textbook, the instructor replied that he wanted them to get that point of view. Woo! All right, Esau, Edom, just being proud, bro, all right? Even schools for Negroes then are places where they must be convinced of their inferiority, all right, which is like I broke that down already. It's the complete opposite, man. All right, it says the thought of the inferiority, all right, of the Negro is drilled into him in almost every class he enters and in almost every book he studies. All right, you see the devil in his education system. All right, it says if he happens to leave school after he masters the fundamentals, all right, before he finishes high school or reaches college, he will naturally escape some of this bias and may recover in time to be of service to his people. All right, practically all of the successful Negroes in this country are of the uneducated type, or of that Negroes who have had no formal education at all. All right, the large majority, like these celebrities, all right, A bunch of dumbass celebrities, man, and some people be exalting them to the clouds, bro, like they're a special person, you know. And it's sad because the scriptures say, matter of fact, let's get it, because I don't want to butcher it. All right, I don't want to butcher it. It says, let me get it. It says, a rich man they extol to the clouds, something like that. But if a poor man speaks, they say, let's do it like that. All right, yeah, it's Ecclesiasticus. All right, there's two of them actually. All right, but I'll get this one. All right, Ecclesiasticus. All right, 13 and 23. When a rich man speaks, every man beholdeth his tongue. Yeah, because for some reason, you know, these stupid ass peons, all right, the masses of the people, they think because someone's rich, he's a celebrity. Oh, he's somebody. Let's listen to him. He's so and so. Let's listen to what this man got to say, right? Because he got millions of dollars, he must know something, right? Because he got millions of dollars, he's a celebrity, he's on TV, he's this person, is, you know, that people uphold, right? So they listen to him, right? But little do they know, this man has no type of wisdom, no type of knowledge of the Most High, you know? Has no true education, right? But they listen to the man just because he's rich and he has money, you know? It says, when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds. But if a poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. Yeah. And it's funny because the true prophets and the true servants of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, they hold the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on this planet Earth. They are the ones that Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, all right, the Most High through his Son himself, all right, have given the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord the very great wisdom and knowledge and understanding of his word. All right, the poor man, all right, they look at the poor man, all right, that works a 9-to-5 job. His clothes ain't that tight, you know, ain't that cool. He drives a regular car. All right, they look at him like he's just some, but little do they know that he has the true wisdom, knowledge and understanding of what's really happening and what's really going on. You see, the Lord said, to the poor man I will look. Matter of fact, let's get that. All right, what's that? Isaiah 66. Let's grab that real quick. Isaiah 66. All right, and 2. All right, it says, matter of fact, I'll start at verse 1. It says, thus saith Yahweh, the heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. Woo. All right, where is the house that ye build unto me? All right, and where is the place of my rest? All right, for all those things has my hand made, and all those things have been, saith Yahweh. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word. That's who the Lord works. That's who the Lord looks to. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai looks to, man. The man that is poor. Because the poor man is the one that's really trembling at the Lord's word, man. The Lord ain't dealing with these super rich people. The scriptures say that it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to make it into the kingdom of heaven. The Lord ain't looking toward these rich celebrities, these people in these in Hollywood and in the music industry. All right, first off, the Hollywood is nothing but a satanic pedophile ring. All right, same thing with the music industry. All they do is worship Satan and do all these satanic rituals. That's how these actors and these the people in the music industry, man, they do all these gay orgies, these gay sexual orgy acts and all that. That's why they're rich, become billionaires. You know? Because in order to make it into in order to make it into Esau Edom's rulership in his world, you got to sell your soul to him. You got to sell your soul to Esau Edom, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. You see? All right? Even to this man, all right? Even to him, all right? But to this man will I look. What man? Even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit. And not poor meaning, you know, you're eating out of a garbage can like Apostle Gabar always says, all right? You know, not someone who is you know, that you know, like, yeah, eating out of a garbage can, man. You know? But someone that is able to teach and preach the word, man. Even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit. Contrite means humble, man. Let's get that real quick. All right, contrite. All right, thoroughly bruised and broken down with grief and patience, deeply sorrowful for sin. All right, it is pleasing. All right, because it is the pleasing of God. All right, matter of fact, let's see what Google talking about. All right, because that's AI. Let's see what Google talking about. Oh wait, nah. All right, contrite. All right, feeling or expressing remorse or penitence. All right, affected by guilt. Yeah, that's who the Lord is looking. Someone who is humble, able to admit he is wrong. All right, he's penitent. All right, affected by guilt. All right, because you got some people who don't even feel guilty, who don't even feel ashamed. That's who the Lord is looking to, man. A person who feels ashamed and guilty about what he's done. A man who is humble. A man who's not. That's the opposite of being proud, man. So the Lord loves that, man. Matter of fact, the Lord said, of a contrite spirit I will not despise. Let's get that real quick. All right, let's grab that real quick. This is Psalms 1. All right, I think this is it right here. Yeah. All right, Psalms 51 and 17. The sacrifices of the Most High Yahweh are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart. O Yahweh, thou will not despise. Yeah, all right. The Lord doesn't despise a man who is humble, a broken man of a contrite heart, a contrite mind, a spirit, man. All right. The Most High Yahweh, thou will not despise. Yeah, man. Come on, bro. All right. Come on, man. All right. And then when you get James, the 2nd chapter, the 5th verse. All right. It says, hearken, my beloved brethren, the Most High God has chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, all right, and heirs of the kingdom which he has promised to them that love him. All right, matter of fact, let's get 1 Corinthians. All right, matter of fact, let me flip through my pages real quick. I got my Bible here in front of me. Let me flip through my pages real quick. All right, 1 Corinthians, I think it's in the 1st chapter, actually. All right, 1 Corinthians, give me a second. Yeah, all right. 1 Corinthians, let's get that. Chapter 1, starting at verse 26. All right, this is who the Lord is dealing with, man. The Lord ain't dealing with these people on high, bro. All right, it says 1 Corinthians 4, 1 and 26. It says, for ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. Yeah, the Lord don't call these people who are on high, celebrities, rich men, hundreds of millions of dollars. And no, that's not who the Lord is talking about. Is calling and looking towards, man. What did we just read in Isaiah 66? For this man will I look. To the poor man, to he that is poor and contrite spirit, and the one that trembleth at my word. All right. Not many mighty, not many noble are called. All right. Yeah, because that's how the Lord shows his power. He likes to raise up a man who doesn't know nothing, all right, and give him all the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, all right, and raise him up to be a prophet, man. All right, it says, but God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. All right, woo. And God has chosen, all right, and God, Yahweh, the Most High Yahweh, has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things that are mighty. Yeah, so the Lord likes to take a man, a regular Joe Schmo. We were all Joe Schmoes, man. And we still looking like, looked at Joe Schmoes. We work regular 9-to-5 jobs. All right? You know? Drive a regular beat up car. We just get our daily bread, man. These are the people the Lord is dealing with, man. And you people are going to be confounded, man. All right, when it's truly made known who the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord really are, bro. You people are going to be confounded, and it's already being revealed. All right, on a low scale, because now you see the prophecies are coming to pass. They jumping out the scriptures like crazy. Right, and all these things that are all these prophecies that are jumping out and coming to pass right now. We've been prophesying this, man. We've been telling y'all this, man. So it's being made known who the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord is more evident than it has ever been, man. You know? All right? But the Most High Yahweh has chosen the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. Yeah. All right? And Yahweh has chosen the weak things of this world to confound the things that are mighty. That's how the Lord shows his power. The Lord likes to show off, man. He likes to let us know that he's the Most High, man. He's the Most High, bro. You know? Come on, man. So that's why when you read in this, you go back into this book, all right, it says practically all the success of the Negroes in this country are of the uneducated type, all right, or of that of Negroes, all right, who have had no formal education at all. The large majority of the Negroes who have put on the finishing touches of our best colleges are all but worthless in the development of their people. Yeah, the only ones that to develop our people are the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord, all right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right, so let's read that again. It says the large majority of the Negroes who have put on the finishing touches of our best colleges, all right, are all but worthless in the development of their people. Yeah, all right, the only ones that have the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and can develop, all right, the nation of Israel, first and foremost, it's really just the elect. It starts with the elect, because this time around only the elect, all right, of the nation of Israel, the elect of you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, and also the Israelites that are scattered, all right, throughout the four corners of the earth under the other nations, looking like the other nations. They are the only ones that can be developed and brought back, you know, by the true prophets and the servants of the Lord, all right? It says, all right, if after leaving school, they have the opportunity to give out the Negroes, all right, what traducers of the race would like to have it learned, such persons may thereby earn a living at teaching or preaching, all right, what they have been taught, all right, but they never become a constructive force in the development of the race, all right? Only the elect, all right, the elect of the Negro, Latino, Native American man, all right, they're the ones, all right, the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord, they're the ones that are that constructive force, man. The elect, man, all right, in this time, man, all right, in these last days, these last seconds that we're living in, man, all right, the so-called school, all right, then becomes a questionable factor in the life of this despised people. Woo! All right, that's woo. All right, what do the scriptures say? All right, that the nation of Israel are a despised people. All right, gathered. Matter of fact, let's get that. What's that? O nation not desired. All right, right, or O nation despised. Yeah, it's not desired, right? All right, we are a despised people. All right. Yeah, Zephaniah, all right, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. All right, we are not a not desired race. All right, we are a race that is not desired, man. All right, we are despised. All right. It says, it says, as enough. I'm gonna just read this, and I'll just end the video. Where am I at right now? 59 minutes, an hour. All right, so it says, as another, all right, as well, excuse me, read that again. It says, as another has well said, to handicap a student by teaching him that his black face is a curse. And we already went into that, bro. It's literally the opposite. To have so-called white skin is a curse. You Edomites in the Bible, the so-called white race, all right, you so-called Caucasians are known as the people of the Lord's curse. All right, matter of fact, let's get that. All right, the people of my curse to judgment. Yeah, the Lord is coming back to slaughter you Edomites, man. All right, all right, all right. Let's grab that. All right, that's in the book of Ezekiel, I think. All right, let's grab it. Oh no, Isaiah. All right, I always get it mixed up. All right, this is Isaiah 34 and 5. All right, matter of fact, let's start. No. I'll start at 5. All right. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Yeah, all right. The Heavenly Father, Yahweh, his sword, all right, his judgment, all right, is getting ready to fall upon Idumea, as we're getting ready to read, all right. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom. All right, the Edomites today is the so-called white race. So the Lord said that his sword, his judgment, is going to come down upon you Edomites, you so-called white people. When you read Isaiah 63, it talks about when the Lord returns, how he's going to slaughter a whole bunch of Edomites. Slaughter millions and millions and millions of Edomites, you so-called white people. Because the Lord hates you so-called white people. All right? It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. Woo! And upon the people of my curse. All right, which is you Edomites, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. All right, which is Idum. You're known as the people of the Lord's curse. Upon the people of my curse. All right, you were cursed with leprosy, man. Cursed with no mercy. You know. All right, and the sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with the fatness. All right, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams, which all represents you Edomites, all right? For Yahweh has a sacrifice in Basra, which Basra was the ancient city in Edom, okay? Basra was the ancient city of Edom, all right? So Basra represents the nation of Edom, all right? Which the modern day Edom is America. So this place is getting ready to be sacrificed with fire, all right? America is an altar, man, all right? It's going to become an altar, all right? For Yahweh has a sacrifice in Basra and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So the Lord is coming back to slaughter you Idumeans, you Edomites, you so-called white people. Woo! All right. So it's all right. So you want to talk about how our face is cursed. All right, our skin is cursed. The so-called black man. See, you so-called white people got a lot to pay for. Little do you know this: the Heavenly Father and His Son is the so-called black man. All right, it says, as another has well said, to handicap a student by teaching him that his black face is a curse and that his struggle to change his condition is hopeless. All right, but this word, all right, we have received hope again, all right, through this word, because we have there's an age to come. All right, there's a world to come for us. There's another world that's getting ready to come, man. That the Lord is getting ready to bring. We have hope in this world to come, man. Knowing that the Lord is getting ready to redeem us out of this hellhole that we're living in. This mental, emotional, and physical hell that we go through as a people. All right. It says, and that his struggle to change his condition is hopeless. All right. Is the worst sort of lynching. All right, it kills one's aspirations and dooms. But we have given the nation of Israel hope again, all right, but through the elect, all right, only the elect, all right, starting with the elect first, because only the elect have this hope, all right, that we're going to receive the world to come, man, which is the kingdom of heaven, all right. It kills one's aspirations and dooms, all right, him to vagabondage, all right, but Esau Edom, he's the true vagabond, all right, and crime, and Esau Edom is the real criminal, all right. The word crime comes from the word crimson, which means red. That's why you say, oh, when you commit a crime and you get caught, they say, oh, that's why you've been caught red-handed. All right, and Esau Edom, he's the real red one. All right, that's what Edom means. It comes from the Hebrew word Adawan, which means red. All right, it says, it is strange then that the friends of truth and the promoters of freedom have not risen up against the present propaganda. Let me read that again. It is strange then that the friends of truth and the promoters of freedom have not risen up against the present propaganda in the schools and crushed it. The crusade is much more important than the anti-lynching movement, all right, because there would be no lynching if it did not start in the schoolroom, all right. Why not exploit, enslave, and exterminate a class that everybody is taught to regard as inferior, all right? So I'll leave it at that, all right? You know, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, all right? I would truly hope, you know, this lesson was edifying, all right? And if it be the Lord's will, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai's will, I'll do a part 2, you know? But Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Ratazah, this lesson was edifying, man. All right, I want to say call Halayam Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakah Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you. You so-called Negroes, you so-called Latinos, and you so-called Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. And not just y'all, the Israelites are also scattered, all right, throughout the four corners of the earth under the other nations, looking like the other nations, all right. You will have Israelites, the elect, all right, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right, looking Chinese. You have Israelites in Chinese. You have Israelites in Japan. They're going to look Japanese. You have Israelites in Cyprus, Israelites in Rome, Israelites in Greece, in France, in Finland, all right, in Spain and Portugal, all right. So, you know, with that being said, you know, on to the next one. Shalom.